Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode here on the premier channel SP Files, where we expose the hypocrisy, the double standards, those Madkhalites. Yes, those Madkhalites living in the West and other parts of the world. And today we're going to be speaking specifically about the use of philosophy in da'wah. Now, we have already explained what we mean by philosophy. We explained this at length. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to first let you listen to something one of the mascots at Speaker's Corner for the S-Pub movement here in the UK, which is the Madkhalis movement, has said, and then we're going to analyze this. Let's take a look at what you said.
Side point. When I did that, one of the follower of Mohammed Hijāb, he said Shamsi is using philosophy. Guess I'm using the Quran, you know. Guess I'm using the Quran, you know. Guess I'm using the Quran, you know. I'm using tafsir of the Quran, of the ayah. He said I'm using philosophy. There's another part of this answer which he himself refuted himself, you know.
Then when you say who create God, another God, who create another God, then you give it infinite time, that doesn't make any sense. It has to stop on someone that is self-sufficient. And when you speak about this issue, you have to make sure you distinguish between, because we accept there is actions that will take place in infinite time. Allah's actions, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? But this one we don't accept it. Infinite in causes. Creators. Creators. This creator creates this creator. This creator creates this creator. Give it infinite time, then the creation will never come into existence.
He himself refuted himself, you know.
Now, if you understand the arguments for God's existence and you've been exposed to, say, the Kalām cosmological, so-called Kalām cosmological argument, and there are more than one Kalām cosmological argument, by the way, but the one that is dubbed as the Kalām cosmological argument, the like of which has been put forward by someone like William Lane Craig, this individual here, the mascot of the S-Pub movement, is using this argument, is effectively using this argument. Now, what are the key components of the Kalām cosmological argument, so-called, because it's actually by Al-Ghazali? It's first of all, كل شيء له بداية له سبب العالم له بداية إذن العالم له سبب. He mentions this in his book الاقتصاد في الاعتقاد, that everything that has a beginning has a cause, the universe has a cause, therefore the universe has a beginning, therefore the universe has a cause. And what specializes this argument from other types of argument is that it then argues for the impossibility of an infinite regress. Now, this is differentiated from other types of argument, for example, like the one I'm currently finished a book on, called the Burhan argument, where in which an argumentum ad absurdum type argument is used to argue from composition that anything that is made out of parts, which is something which is attachable, detachable, is contingent, and that the universe is made up of such parts and therefore the universe is contingent. So the idea of arguing against the possibility of the plausibility of an actual infinite regress in the real world is a specialist element of the Ghazali's type of argument. He mentions this in detail in his book Tahafut al-Falasifa. And obviously this is not it's not specific to him, because the idea of argument from an infinite regress was something that was done in the past. John of Philoponus done this, and you know, many Jewish, actually most of the Jewish commentators that spoke about it did so afterwards. But let's say John of Philoponus, the Greeks did this as well. And so this is really a Greek argument, or at least it has a Greek basis. Okay, it has a it's a Greek philosophical basis. Not to say that it started there. Maybe somewhere in the world someone had made this argument somewhere else, but you can trace this back to the Greeks. You can trace this back to John of Philoponus. You can change this back to the Christians. You can trace this back to the Mu'tazilis and to the Ash'aris. Definitely, you can. Now, why are you using this argument, which is, look, think about this. Your whole argument is we shouldn't be using arguments that are not in the Quran and Sunnah, and or that are not endorsed by the Salaf. What Salaf said it? Now I'm asking you, what Salaf said what you're saying right now? This is an argument from the Ash'aris. This is an argument from the Greeks. Now, are you going to repent for making such an argument? Why is what's good for the goose not good? Why is what's good for the goose not good for the gander? Why are you allowed to make those arguments? And you're immune from making philosophical arguments because you're a Salafi, so-called Salafi, yeah, Madkhali, and anyone else that makes a similar argument. In fact, we make a different argument, which ironically is more commensurate with the Ibn Taymiyyah position, who believes in something called Hawadith la awwala laha, which I'm not going to go into detail about. But you're allowed to make those arguments. Why are you allowed to make those arguments? Are you going to repent for making those arguments? This is my question. You're saying using philosophy, using Kalām. You are using philosophy and you are using Kalām. And don't forget, you are using the exact words, word for word, what Hamza Zorsis said. Giving the exact analogies like a mother giving birth to her. So you use those words. You copy your teacher Hamza Zorsis, and then you don't even give him credit. As the Quran says. You know, they like to be praised for what they don't even do. You plagiarized Hamza Zorsis, his words and his analogies, which are, because we know you watched that debate, and obviously you can watch this other video that we've done. And now, yeah, and now you're making it as if anyone that's using philosophical arguments, or even Kalām arguments, is a mubtada, as a deviant. So does that make you a deviant? Are you a deviant now? Have you made tabdi' of yourself? Either you make tabdi' of yourself on the same basis, or you say I've fallen into bid'ah and you repent, or you apologize for wasting all of our time. And there's no third option. Yeah, because now you are trapped in a corner. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.